You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub. Connor, Dick, and Chris in studio. We are pre-recording a special Thanksgiving episode because Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, but
Isn't it always on a Thursday?
yeah, well this year it's on a Thursday and every year before that, but we know at some point on the holiday you're going to get tired of hanging out with your family. You're going to get tired of just sitting there having awkward conversations with your aunt that you haven't seen in a few years.
At noon already?
This
shows on at noon, so.
Well, or maybe you're it's pre-meal. You're trying to like stall before you have to be around your family. And yeah, so you're doing the noon like, oh, I'll run to get more ice. Yeah. I know. Oh, we forgot something at the store. So we're coming to you still live noon, 104.5 and 106.1 in the Conroe area, irlonestar.com on all podcast feeds. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter at @the_Ticket Stub. Dick, how you doing today, man?
I'm sick.
Yeah?
Yeah. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
You don't seem sick. I mean, we've been talking for a little
Yeah,
bit.
no, I'm like, it's one of those things where I just start sneezing uncontrollably for a minute.
Oh, that'll be good.
And then all of a sudden I was like, it just hit me. And I'm like, what just happened? Oh, I feel like crap. And I woke up like crap. And so, crap.
Well, crap, man. Sorry about that. Chris, are you sick also?
I'm not sick yet.
Okay, not
I
yet.
hope not. It's
After this episode, we both
maybe.
will be.
It's a big week for us at the theater, so, I can't be sick. I got to be there. We're going to be super busy this week.
Yeah, do you give like
Whoa, yeah. Sorry.
do you give your guys like a pep talk before really, do you like circle them up and gather them around and say, guys, there's like a football coach. You should watch like, Longest Yard or
No,
like
any given Sunday. Any given inch by inch.
Inch by inch. They're going to be coming through that door and we're going to greet them with a smile. Do you do something like that?
It's something like that. It's like, go with the ushers and say like, popcorn is your enemy. There shouldn't be any popcorn on the floor at all.
Yeah.
It's
We're
popcorn's
pushing
the
back.
enemy.
Push them
Yeah,
back.
push 'em back.
Do you do a major pain interpretation to them?
With that accent?
Yeah.
No.
No, it might be a little racially insensitive.
I think it'd be great if you did a monologue of like a famous inspiration speech and just see if anyone knows what movie it's from, but just try to pass it off as yourself.
Yeah, we know the Burris would know.
Yeah, I really want to do the Alec Baldwin, Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross speech to them, I think.
There you go. You should just start sprinkling some lines in and see, you're a movie theater, so surely your employees at least are somewhat interested in movies.
Yeah.
So you could kind of see if they catch it or not. See, maybe a little wink at those who know, and the rest of them will be like, man, that Chris is inspiring. He really calls us to be better employees.
Insane.
Yeah, or he's a crazy person.
He's like, hey, Chris, it's just popcorn.
Right?
It's
yeah.
just popcorn.
That's usually what happens.
Not that big of a deal. Well, cool. I hope a lot of people come to the theater this week, man.
I think so. Yeah, we've got a good lineup. So.
Yeah, well, good stuff. So
What lineup?
What's like the big one coming out?
We got Coco. We've got Justice League just came out. That's still doing good. Wonder did huge numbers this last weekend. So,
Wonder?
Yeah.
What's that?
Wonder, not Wander. Wonder. It's about like a special needs boy, right?
He has
Oh,
like a deformity.
Owen Wilson. Right?
Owen Wilson. Is he in that?
I don't know. Is he?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
plays his
Okay.
dad. That's how I knew
I
that.
thought you
Oh,
meant he
okay.
was the special
All right.
needs kid.
Yeah, he's
when I
no,
saw
it's-
the trailer, I was like, man, that's good casting. They almost look this.
Oh, nice.
Oh no, but this kid was from Room. It was the little boy from Room. Did you see that with Brie Larson
Yeah.
that won the Oscars or won a couple Oscars last year? Yeah, that's the same boy who's in this one. But
I'm just letting you know, full disclosure, I thought it was a real kid with a real deformity. and then
It's a true story.
yeah, but
yeah.
the kid playing the movie, I thought like that was like, oh, that's just one acting gig. He gets to be in this movie.
Okay.
well, that's what, actually I heard I read an article.
Now I don't sound so mean that he looks like Owen Wilson.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I read an article that was talking about how there was people that are offended that they didn't cast a real person with a facial deformity to be this actor, and I think it's kind of the outrage culture, right? Like, how dare you not do? It's like
guess.
I think
Well,
they're
really, I mean, imagine doing the casting call. How many people would show up? Like, oh, your face isn't messed up enough for us to put you in this movie.
We need everybody with a jacked up face to please come audition for this movie.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. Probably you just don't, and that's what they did. But Wonder's out, Coco's out, Justice League, which I'm actually I'm leaving town after we record this to go to see my family, and me and my dad. We always go to movies together, so we're already planning our trip to Justice League. I've heard mixed reviews, a lot are really terrible, but now there's been a recent kind of a backswing saying, you know what, it's actually enjoyable movie, and so excited to see it for myself. And then anything else you want to plug at the Grand this week?
No, we just want everybody to come out and have a good time. You know, again, on Thanksgiving Day, we're open if you're tired of hanging out with your family.
What are your hours on Thanksgiving Day?
We are from 10:30 to 10:30. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. 10:30 to 10:30. Make sure you check out the Grand because Chris is going to be there. Go say hi. Go tell him you're a stubby, and maybe he'll give you a free popcorn or something.
We'll give you one.
Yeah, I can't really do that, but
one of the M&Ms. One of the M&Ms after you purchase the M&Ms. How about that?
Yeah, well, I can autograph it.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Autograph
that's
your
worth
popcorn.
it, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's going to be worth something
Get a lot
someday.
get a lot of takers on that one.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, we're going to hop in. We've got some movies to rewind this show. We've got a little game that doesn't have a good
Is it
title.
really a game?
Well, that's not a game. It's just a
really a
conversation starter. We've got some talking points about some movies that are coming way in pre-production. Don't have a lot of info about them, but we're going to talk about them and see if we like them or not. Do we think they would ever make a good movie? Would they be successful? We're going to call that pre-production. We're going to do it a
Hot
little
and
later
heavy
on.
movies.
Some definitely hot and heavy movie talk. And then we also are going to give some tickets away at the end of the show. And we have got a treat coming up for next show, and we're gonna tease it right now. We're going to be watching some great movies in the coming week, and excited to tell you all about them.
To let people know, it would be Thursday. Hear this.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching the Hallmark 5 Days of Thanksgiving. We each picked one of the movies because starting, I believe it's on Wednesday. Every night they're having a premiere of one of the Christmas Hallmark movies.
And I think that even if you heard this live on Thursday, you would still be able to watch all the movies with us.
I'm watching The Christmas Train with Dermot Mulrooney, Kimberly Williams Paisley, and then Danny Glover, Joan Cusack too. I mean, like that's
a lot of loaded.
Good cast.
That's
Yeah.
loaded. All right, well, Chris and I, let's tease ours. Let's save ours for the end, the ones we're going to watch on the
Okay.
Hallmark
I'm
channel.
just really excited. I want to watch it right now.
Yeah, Dick
Yeah.
has been giddy since we had this idea.
I thought it was a great idea.
It was a good idea, Dick. You came up with it, excited to do it as well. All right, well, let's hop in. We got some movie news. We're rapid firing through some stories that are going on in the world of movies right now. So we're going to just throw them out there, see what we think, and move on to the next one. The first is that Quentin Tarantino's got a new movie coming out called 1969. I sent you guys an article that had some details about the plot. I'll read it for everybody else. It says, set in Los Angeles in the summer of 1969, Tarantino's, hold on, my page just, freaking, are you kidding me? Land's End ad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, here we go. All right.
Pop-ups.
Tarantino's upcoming movie focuses on a male TV actor who's had one hit series and is looking for a way to get into the film business. His sidekick, who's also his stunt double, is looking for the same thing. The horrific murder of Sharon Tate and 4 of her friends by Charles Manson's cult of followers serves as the backdrop for the main story. So all this happens in 1969. It's an actor trying to break into movies, and somehow Charles Manson and his cult play in the background. What do you guys think about this? Does that sound interesting? Do you think it's going to be good?
Nope. I am not a fan of Quentin Tarantino. Never have been.
Really?
Nope. Never. That's all I wrote down. See, I am not a fan of Tarantino at all. Extremely overrated.
Extremely overrated.
I wrote
Wow.
that down so I'd remember to say
That's
that.
good. Well, you did a good job saying
Yeah.
it.
Well, what's interesting about him is he became popular right when the independent movie scene was growing, and the people who funded his movie go, "Oh, we're actually getting a return on this," and we're getting praised because we have a good movie, you know. And one thing I didn't understand is because one of the main tick points on this movie was he's given a budget of $100 million, and that was like the headline. I'm like, he usually gets a lot of money to make his movies. Like, I think.
At least to pay actors, because he
Well,
always
that's what I'm saying. You know, like Inglourious Bastards, I think was at least $100 million, and then
Where's
Hateful
the
Eight
Burris
was
at? He
which
was,
Yeah.
cheaper. No, I meant like to
Yeah, no.
make it. And so I didn't really understand why that's a talking point with Quentin Tarantino now, because he does a movie every 3 years, every 2 years.
Yeah, something
Yes.
like that. Is it? So is this with Weinstein still, or 'cause, he does the
as
majority
Miramax.
of Miramax?
yeah.
Or is it Miramax anymore? Are they gone?
Well, I don't.
I think it's Weinstein.
I think things. It has been Weinstein. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is moving forward. I don't know if they're scrapping that or what they're doing. But he's got it coming out. So, well, I guess currently IMDb has it listed as Untitled Quentin Tarantino 1969 project. It's got Margot Robbie attached, so that's at least interesting. But I don't know. I think Tarantino, for me, I usually like his movies quite a bit. He's got a couple that I don't like as much, but I know he only has a couple movies left to make, is what he said. He's going to make like 10 total movies. and then he's going to be done. And
that's great.
And Hateful Eight was Hateful Eight was his 8th, so this would be his 9th.
I mean, come on, he loves movies. Either he's gonna make just crappier movies, and that's his excuse. I'm not gonna make any more serious movies.
And maybe he'll go like total slapstick after that.
I mean, no telling.
Or Hallmark. Hallmark's always looking for good directors.
I'm waiting for the Martin Scorsese to come out with an excuse why his movies have been sucking for the past like 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just gets hard to keep being original after you've been original several times. Something like that. Maybe
that's one good thing I can say about Quentin Tarantino is that his movies are original. I mean, you're not going to see anything else like them. So that, I guess, is a good thing in today's time where they're just cranking out sequel after sequel and prequel. And
yeah, he at least tries. He is definitely unique. All right,
I definitely like those deformed movies.
Deformed.
yeah,
when they have a kid
I like
that's
them too when
deformed.
they
Those
make-
are my favorite.
Those are your yeah.
I like them too when they make that amount of money. I sure do.
Hey-yo.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris is a bottom line guy,
Yeah.
all right? If it brings butts and seats, he's all about it.
Hey, why don't we make the kid look weird? Okay.
Is this your producer voice right now? Hey. Like, who are you calling to?
Hey, I saw a kid on a bus one time.
Yeah,
And,
like
and
I'm talking
he had a funny looking face.
Gosh.
And let's do that.
You guys are the worst kind of people over here.
Well, what do you
Wonder
think-
is a beautiful story about a kid who overcomes the obstacles.
I bring that up because like the Goonies. Do you think they totally had a conversation about the big ugly
the
brother?
melted face guy?
Yeah, and it's like, what do we need to do for him? Like, let's just go over the top with it. Like, I'm talking a little tiny ear on the side. I mean, they went over the top with it.
Snaggle teeth everywhere.
He was a former football player, actually. Just a
But
little,
that's not what he looked like, though.
no, I don't know, man.
Hope not.
That CTE thing, is
Oh,
that
gosh.
what that is now?
Yeah, I think it affects your face.
Maybe.
Okay, Wonder.
But
Go see it in theaters at the Grand
you know
this
they
week.
had that conversation in the Steven Spielberg or
Hey,
somebody goes,
hey.
hey, we need to make it more adventurous with the big ugly brother.
I like it, but the kid's not ugly enough. All right, can we?
Well, I think their problem is he became a good guy in the end.
Oh.
So they had to put some sympathy in him. So instead of actually developing the character, they just made him messed up looking. So
There
we
you
have
go.
instant sympathy for him.
It's like Simple Jack on Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never go full deformed when you're playing a role. All right, next story. James Cameron is making a new. I wrote Transformers, but I obviously didn't mean that. Terminator.
Yeah.
James Cameron is making a new Terminator movie, and he is going to ignore every Terminator movie after T2 Judgment Day. So he's
Good
going to
call.
forget about all the other ones, and he's going to pick up the plot right after T2 and move on from there. He directed the first 2, and then he didn't. He was a producer, I think, but didn't direct the other ones. So he's coming back in. He says he's got some great ideas. What do you think? Good or bad?
I like it. It worked for Superman Returns. I mean, they just pretty much said, forget it, anything after Superman 2, and came back with that one. And I like that movie. I thought it worked out pretty well. And I like, I think Arnold's in it again, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to have Arnold in the Terminator
Yeah,
movie.
he's attached to it for sure, and now he drops in for like a cameo, or I don't know. He's definitely not. Well, maybe he'll be the main character. I don't know.
Well, no, he'll just be CGI, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Right.
they CGI'd him into one of them.
Like most of them, actually. After T2, most of them, it was CGI'd.
It may have been the Christian Bale one where he came back, but it was like original. It was like a brand new.
Yeah.
Because the one with
1000.
Christian Bale was like the prequel to all the Terminators, I think. So it was like when he was hot off the press in their time, and it was just a fully CGI. I bet the CGI doesn't look very good if you were to go back and watch it now, but in the moment it was pretty cool. But so he's forgetting them all. I don't know. Is this just more rehashing the same thing over again, or does this have a chance to do
I
something
hope
cool?
he actually wrote something back in the day after T2 to continue the story, because that's been the biggest complaint, really, with all the Terminators is the plot after T2 was just not as tight. It was too outlandish. It didn't feel like a T1, T2 movie. So hopefully he already has an idea of a solid screenplay, and then he's able to execute. I think James Cameron can just kind of do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Linda Hamilton's in it again, too.
Well,
I
that's
saw,
perfect
so-
right there.
Yeah.
That's all you need, man.
What about the
all you need.
crazy John Connor kid? You think he's going to be in it? I think he needs to be in it somehow.
Doesn't he live here? Nick Stahl or somebody? He has relatives that live here. He came to the theater one time. I was not there, but what one was he in? 3?
He wasn't in 3.
No.
Nick Stahl?
Oh, Nick Stahl was in 3.
Yeah.
The actor, Nick
Yes,
Stahl. Okay.
yeah.
I was like, who are we talking about
Yeah.
here?
I guess he has a relative that lives around here. So.
Oh, he's from.
Just
He was born in.
useless fact.
He was born in Harlingen, Texas. So that
okay. Yeah, there you go.
that could very well be true. All right, and then the last thing is that there is a list on L.com, all of our favorite website, that has the things that are leaving Netflix and the things that are coming to Netflix this month. I was wanting to throw out, so you guys can all check that out on L.com. But I was wondering if you guys had one thing that was coming and one thing that was coming you were excited about, one thing that was leaving that maybe, sad to see it go.
Well, I am excited about seeing Craig Ferguson tickle fight because I don't know what that is, but anything with him in it, and I love things that have to do with tickle fights. So, I mean, it's just like the perfect thing for me. He's extremely funny, and if he's tickling or whatever he's doing.
Is it a comedy special?
That's really creepy.
I don't
by
know.
The way.
I hope not. I hope it's a serious drama.
Before the show, Chris said, sometimes I say things that sound kind of creepy. And
well, how's that creepy? I like Craig Ferguson. I like tickles.
And I like tickles.
Someone else talk for a minute. I got to compose myself here.
That is creepy.
Oh,
Okay. Well, to each his own, I guess.
To each his own.
Is it a movie or is it?
I don't know. I just saw the list. So.
Okay. Dick, did you see anything that you would like to
Recommend?
talk about?
Oh, well, Catwoman's on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I think it's already on Netflix, so I don't really understand this list.
Well,
I would
don't know.
say the
L.com could be a liar.
Yeah, well, full of it. The Crown season 2, I saw the season 1. That was somewhat it was really well produced, so I like that. Outside of that, that's about it.
Yeah, The Crown season 1. Me and my girlfriend were watching that. And we made it to the finale and never finished it, and we still haven't. And so we're
She's still around.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she's gone now. No, but anyways, we haven't watched that, but The Crown is good. There's a lot of stuff coming and going. I think the stuff leaving the list, if you looked at the going away, it's mostly stuff that I think no one cares about.
Well, Scary Movie 2 and 3, I'm disappointed.
And
on
Always
that,
Sunny in Philadelphia, all the seasons are disappearing.
I didn't even see that
That's a
on
big
there. Is
deal.
that real?
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's real.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't look far enough down. Okay, that is depressing for sure.
Perhaps it will go to Hulu then.
It already is on Hulu.
Oh, well, great.
We're also losing America's Funniest Home Videos Kids Holidays, America's Funniest Home Videos Kids Animals with Attitude season 1.
I didn't even know
it's
that was
Tough
on
Being
there.
a Kid season 1, Playtime Ain't for Wimps season 1, D Nincompoop
All right, we
Nation.
don't have to do the
I'm
whole
just saying,
list.
we're losing a lot of America's
probably
Funniest Home
should be
Videos
taking a
right
break.
there. All right, we're going
Let's
to go to
cue up the
break.
break.
Fine, if you insist. I'll quit reading about America's Funniest Videos. When we come back, we're going to rewind the movies we've seen in the last week. Later in the show, we're going to be playing a game called Pre-Production. It's not a game, it's a conversation starter. So stick with us here on the Ticket Stub.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Hey guys, I'm Joey Savage.
Corey DLG.
We are Nerd Thug Radio. Catch us every Monday from 1 to 3 and check out our website, nerdthugradio.com.
We like to talk about quilting, horseback riding, and baking quiche.
Actually, we don't, but we do like talking nerdy to you.
That's right. Every Monday from 1 to 3 p.m., hashtag talking nerdy to you.
And we're back on the Ticket Stub. If you missed the first segment, you missed some scintillating movie talk as we did a rapid fire version of a few different news stories.
And just to clarify, the Craig Ferguson tickle is just a stand-up. So sorry, Chris.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Have you seen that weird
Anything
documentary?
that happens, what people that are watching it can do whatever they want to do.
Have you seen that weird documentary, Chris, about people getting paid to tickle?
No.
I've heard of that.
Apparently, it's like a must-see if you're really weird.
Well, we'll have. Well,
So-
I was going to say check it out, but you set me up, man.
If you're really super weird.
I just want to give a quick shout out to our listeners right now. If you want to reach out to us, the Ticket Stub Podcast at gmail.com. We're on Twitter and also Facebook, the Ticket Stub Podcast. Here every Thursday at noon o'clock on Lone Star Community Radio. And typically by 8 a.m. the next day, the podcast drops. So
Yeah, thanks for that. And also, if you are following us on Twitter, we're starting to get some likes and retweets And I think what's happening is because the people aren't following the show, I'm not always able to see exactly who that is on Twitter. So if you're liking or if you're retweeting our stuff and you're wanting to be a part of the grand ticket giveaway, make sure that you're also following our account, because that's going to be the best way for you to have an opportunity to win the tickets that we give away every week. But we also appreciate you participating in the polls and everything like that we're doing as well. All right, this is the part of the show where we rewind the movies that we have seen in the last week. That is where we talk about things that we have seen. And so I think we've all seen a movie. Dick, you said you'd seen Arrival this week.
Yes, I saw the 2016 Arrival movie. It was directed by Dennis I can't pronounce it.
Villeneuve.
He's kind of one of those eclectic directors. In the past, he's done Cesario. He's done Prisoners. Sicario or Cesario?
Sicario.
All right, there you go. And he is a pretty good director, so I was kind of excited to watch this movie. It stars Amy Adams, who I don't really care for. Jeremy Renner, right?
Yep.
All right, and Forrest Whitaker. Actually, the cast list is really small for this movie. I was kind of surprised by that. The movie is based off of a true story of aliens. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I know if y'all haven't seen the movie, you can watch it on Amazon Prime and stream it. The movie itself was kind of boring, but I have a question for Connor and the listeners and those because you've seen it, and Chris, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming up is major spoilers. So the whole movie, this lady is a language specialist, and she's been asked to interpret these aliens who've landed across like 12 ships across the world, and the world is trying to react. They're all trying to communicate with each other. So from what I understand, tell me if I'm wrong, Connor, is she basically learned their language, and their language had the power to see into the future and into the past, because time becomes non-linear with their language.
Yeah, so it was kind of intense. From what I remember, it's like their vocabulary contained somehow it captured time in it as well. And so as you learned it, time is a circle, and everything that happens. I mean, and it's one of those things where unlocking their language, because they're such a higher level being, it was all about how they were like so much beyond us and everything.
Yeah, but they are giant octopuses, so they can't.
Well, somehow,
but what they look like is hands. If
they're-
you zoomed in on your hand from way far away, that's what the guys looked like.
Well, somehow we helped them in the future 3,000 years from then. And that's why they came to give us the language to help them in the future. But
like they keep us alive to save them.
Yes. What confused the hell out of me, though, is towards the end, she realizes she has this power because she's been having what you thought were flashbacks throughout the whole movie about her daughter and her daughter dying is actually a premonition because I know this is important.
Yeah, to people who haven't seen the movie yet.
I've already said we're going to talk about it, didn't I? So, deal with it.
All right.
And what confused me about it was she has this power. She saves the world practically using this power. But then it kind of like she doesn't realize, I have this power. I can change the world. Like I can control the world almost. They didn't talk about that. It just talked about, she goes ahead and gives birth to her daughter who she knows who's going to die at 12. And that's the end of the movie. I'm like, really? I mean, if you realize you can see into the future, you think that we're just going to end it at like, I'm still going to bone this dude. We're still going to push out this baby. And no, that would not. I mean, come on, think about it. Would you?
Right, yeah. So it wasn't like one of those Christopher Walken, like, prophecy, like, where she touches the octopus and is, like, all of a sudden sees that. I can't recall exactly.
Well, it's because as she's learning the language,
it's
the language is allowing her to see into the future. And she's dreaming it.
It's mostly
first,
through her dreams, yeah.
But she's seeing it. And then towards the end of the movie, when, like, the climax is basically China is going to shoot down one of these ships, and so she's like trying to think about it, and then she sees the premonition of her meeting the Chinese general, and the Chinese general whispers the last 9 words of his wife, and so she knows his phone number through that conversation in the future. So she calls the number, speaks Chinese to him, and then saves the world. So she's able to sit down and go boop, and just focuses on it and able to see it. She wasn't dreaming at that time.
Yeah.
So she has this power to go into the future and see how things are going to be developed. And like, they didn't touch on that at all, what she's capable of now. Like if I was the U.S. Army, I'd be like, wait a second, how did you know this?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, she was. It was strange how she was able to reach the Chinese. I know she had his cell phone number.
That wasn't
or whatever.
strange because that was part of what the language allowed her to do.
Yeah, but I feel like can you just call a Chinese general on his cell
Well, that's
phone?
what he literally in the dream or in the premonition. She goes, "This is my number," and it shows in the phone. And I think I'm supposed to show this to you.
Yeah,
And
I guess so. Yeah.
So she gets.
So you're saying where does it go from there?
Well, not even that, but it's like, no, why is the army? They just let her go.
Yeah.
Like she just goes on with her life. She has the kid.
right, yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. Is no one going to try to figure this out? Like how she can see into the future? And then especially with her not telling anybody except Jeremy, and he gets mad. That's why he leaves her because she knew the baby was going to die.
And he didn't tell her. Yeah.
And she told him after the fact. And he's like, why would you do that? Why would you have me fall in love with you and give you this baby and then be like, yo, by the way, dead in 12 years?
Well, if you haven't seen
not
Arrival,
funny. I'm just-
you don't need to see it
Well,
at
yeah,
this point.
but if you want to avoid watching this, because I didn't like it.
Okay.
Well, no,
Yeah, but can't you just? It's all it is a bunch of octopuses squirting some ink on the glass. That's all it is. That's the whole movie.
Well,
and if you want to have the same experience, just go to the Houston Aquarium and tap on the octopus.
Well,
glass.
see,
and they'll do
I
it.
think when
and
they're-
you,
see, that's what
and you're out there with your family. And they got it.
Well, that's what bothered me about it.
There
That's
you
what
go.
bothered me
Yeah.
about it because
You
it
don't have to
wasn't
watch
about the octopuses. It was about this woman's experience about how life goes and how we choose to live our life. That's what I got at the end because she knows what she's going to do. But
would you
she's-
do it anyways?
Would you do it anyways? And, whatever. And I was like, no, like, I would totally make money off this, control the world. Let's get real here. And
Okay. Well, on the other side of the coin, I appreciated it because it was a different look at an alien encounter from what other movies will do. A lot of movies, it's kind of the same thing. They're coming, they're going to blow up the world. We try to fight them. They're too strong. We find an ultimate way to
in
kill
this
them.
movie, they didn't even touch on the future of how they're saving them. It was just like, you're just supposed to save us. And then that's it. And now she has this power.
Does everything have to be spelled out in a movie? Like every little detail has to be wrapped up by the end?
But how does knowing their language save them in the future?
I don't know. But I mean, but maybe that's part of what's left. Like she
They
doesn't
become, do we become them? We become
Yeah,
the hands
we become
that
those-
poop
yeah,
out
yeah.
of their
You
fingers.
know what?
Yeah.
There should be an Arrival too.
Yeah, becoming the
Answer
squid.
all these questions.
I bet there will be.
And the opening scene is they're torturing Amy Adams. Like, why didn't you tell us you knew this?
How did you know these things?
Well, I can't believe that still isn't an issue.
But she would. See, but she
they
would know
never
they were
brought
gonna,
up. It wasn't like
She would see that was going to happen, and she would
because they're about to
avoid it.
shoot her because she's calling to China. Like they discover there's a phone call being made in the base, and like they have all these guns on her, and then it's like, oh, she saved the day, and no one like.
Okay, see you later.
So at the end of the movie, I would tell people not waste their time at all. It's crap.
Yeah. Has there been a movie that you have recommended to people since the start of the show?
I think there's been a couple.
USS Indianapolis, maybe.
That movie was pretty
A
good.
long time ago.
That movie was pretty good.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Anything?
Yeah.
Who's his favorite actor?
Yeah, Nick Cage.
Anything with Nick Cage,
That's
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Thank
or
you, Jake, the producer.
Steven Seagal. I just love those sexual harassers. You
Yeah.
know, like just put them in a box set. I'll enjoy it.
Oh, hey, something to think about like 10 years from now. The Harasser box set, Criterion edition. Man, you could get a lot of good movies in there.
And
All right,
the title screen at the very beginning of every movie, when this movie was made,
we did not know.
he violated some people. So like,
All right, Chris, what did you watch this week?
Well, changing gears.
Yeah.
I watched The Santa Claus from 1994.
oh yeah, the Tim Allen movie.
Yeah,
that's
surprise.
coming to Netflix.
Yes, it is. Yep, all three of them are. But it's. I'm sure everyone's seen this movie, but it's when a man inadvertently kills Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. He finds himself magically recruited to take his place. So it's Tim Allen, Judge Reinhold, Wendy Crewson, who was Harrison Ford's wife in Air Force One. It's a cool actress. Eric Lloyd and David Krumholtz, who is Bernard the Elf. He really hasn't done a whole lot of stuff.
He's in Numbers.
He got pigeonholed
Yeah,
as
Numbers.
Bernard.
Yeah, he was in
It's hard to
Numbers.
escape that Bernard pigeonhole that happens to you when you're young.
Yeah, I really like this movie. It's a holiday classic.
I
so-
forgot that he kills Santa Claus.
Yes.
He does not kill Santa Claus.
He yells at Santa and he slips off the roof and falls to his death.
Originally, what was supposed to happen is he was supposed to shoot Santa with his shotgun off the roof and kill him. That's not a joke. That's what
They
the
decided
original
that was
script
a little too
They said
intense.
it was too much. Yeah. So,
But like this is a kids movie and Santa dies in like the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes.
he does. Yeah. So it was directed by John Pasquin, who directed the first season of Home Improvement, which is the best season
Fun.
of Home Improvement.
Okay,
It's Tim Allen show. Yeah.
Yeah, Tim Allen show, and Last Man Standing, also Tim Allen show. But a cool fact about this movie, that people might not know is that for 1 week in November of 1994, Tim Allen had the #1 movie with Santa Claus, the #1 show with Home Improvement, and the #1 book with Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man is the title of the book.
Wow, triple threat.
It is. And the last one's, it's good advice for anyone. So,
Yes, don't, especially if a tickle fight ensues.
I would, now, yeah. I have standards of
Yeah.
how this happens. It's,
Yeah. Hey, there's ground rules in tickle
one
fights.
thing
Okay.
that always bothered me though about like the movies like the Santa Claus is how they have to write in the script why the parents are divorced. Because I
Yes,
feel
yeah.
like in the 90s there was a big push to have every parent divorced in
it's
a
still
kids
happening.
movie.
Daddy's Home 2 was like that as well. So
And well, you wouldn't have a movie without
right.
that and Daddy's Home.
You know,
but,
if the fabric of America was just a little more solid, some of these movies would never get made.
well, because I think the problem I had with it is most divorces end because there's like infidelity or something really bad.
Yeah.
But like in the Santa Claus, I didn't really get why they got divorced.
they're
It
just
was
not
more
together.
of like,
because he killed Santa.
well, the only
It's
thing
hard
I
for
guess is
marriages
she
to make-
cheated on because she married Judge Reinhold,
Right.
And so that was the only thing I was like, oh, so she's the one that moved on and married somebody else. He's still, being the top dog at whatever office he was working at, or where was he?
He was at a toy company that manufactured like a toy doll.
yeah, and so is he just a bad guy? That's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't really explain to me
Yeah.
why they're separated.
It seemed like from watching the movie again that he was just all about work, is what it kind of seemed like. So
All right, cool. The Santa Claus. If you
one thing
what you
I
got?
gotta say negative about this franchise
Okay.
is that it Santa Claus 2 sparked the career of Spencer Breslin.
Is that a little kid?
Yeah,
Who is that?
Yeah. He's a little elf in Santa Claus 2, but he was in The Happening with the M.
Mark
Night
Wahlberg?
Shyamalan movie. Okay, well, if you guys don't know who he is, then we can't mutually.
Well, I feel
Yeah,
like
like-
I know exactly. The Disney's the kid.
Yes,
And then, Meet the Parents,
Cat
Cat
in
in the
the
Hat.
Hat.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? You don't like that kid?
I don't like that kid really. No, I don't. Well, he's an adult now.
I don't
Is he?
like that kid. No, he was in the movie The Kid. Is that what you already said?
Yeah, Disney's the kid.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, sorry about that happening to you. So your knock against Santa Claus 1 is that Santa Claus 2 created Spencer Breslin.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. Well, hey, if that's the worst thing that Santa Claus did, then I think we're doing.
So what's
okay.
Santa Claus 3 like? Because it has
Martin Short in it. It is an atrocious film. It is.
is
just
it Reach?
awful.
They're just reaching for it.
Oh yeah, big
Money
time.
grab.
He
Hey,
has to
Judge
go
Reinhold's
back in
still in it,
time.
though.
Yeah, he has to go back in time and.
It makes sense.
And-
To save the aliens. To
Is
save
it,
the-
yeah, is it a language they learned,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
he prevents having Charlie
The elves have
altogether?
a- yeah.
And
Right. Yes. Yeah.
good
Okay.
movie.
And no more Spencer Breslin.
Hey,
all right.
the-
Well, I'm going
the
to talk
parents
about.
take a
Yeah,
trip
when we
to
come
Planned
back, we'll talk about your
Parenthood.
movie. We
Okay,
gotta take a break.
We're gonna run to
Yeah.
break. When we come back, I'll rewind my movie, and
What
then
movie?
we'll planes, trains,
and
and
automobile. That's a good
automobiles.
Thanksgiving movie. That's
I
right.
actually did a Thanksgiving movie this time since I didn't do a Halloween movie. All right, stick with us here on the Ticket Stub.
Lone Star Community Radio presents the Lone Star Radio Troupe. This talented cast will perform radio plays right here in the Lone Star Studios located in downtown Conroe. There will be a new performance every first Sunday of the month. And if you miss the broadcast, just go to Lone Star Community Radio's podcast or YouTube anytime during that month. Go to ourlonestar.com archives to find the Lone Star Radio Troupe's latest play that's available. This is Lone Star Community Radio, Conroe's 104.5 FM and 106.1 FM community station. Find us on the web at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is a supporter to the performing arts in Montgomery County, Texas.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app for your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That is Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Welcome back to the Ticket Stub. We want to remind everybody that we are coming to you live every Thursday. Doesn't matter if it's Thanksgiving Day or not. We're still coming. Well, this is playing live, although it's pre-recorded.
Let's backtrack that statement.
We are going to have a show every Thursday at noon 104.5 and 106.1 on the Conroe FM. Also on irlonestar.com. You can find us on all the podcast platforms. Facebook, the Ticket Stub Podcast. Twitter at @the_Ticket Stub. We got people from England liking our tweets, trying to win some contests, but you know what? We're going global is that's how I interpret that.
Yeah.
We're now a global podcast and global radio show. You can also find us on YouTube. We've got a couple episodes. The Burris episode blowing up on YouTube. People are really responding to that.
I bet they're just
Rain
so
Man.
amazed that I stumped him. And they're like, man,
They want to know what Steam Boy is.
Yeah.
That Dick is really smart. You know, he's something else.
He stumped him, and no one congratulated him.
No one even-
Instead, they congratulated everything on the Burris.
And not a little bit on Dick. I'm sorry, man. You know what? Hey, good job, though.
Yeah.
You stumped him. No one else could, and
Yeah.
you did it. So you're the man. All right, well, I want to rewind the movie I saw last week. They didn't leave me enough time last segment to do my movie. I saw a movie for Thanksgiving. I actually Googled Thanksgiving movies, and I thought there would be none. And I found a couple lists that had quite a few, like about 20 movies or so that revolved around Thanksgiving or had Thanksgiving related at least a little bit. So the one I watched was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I had never seen it before. I was excited to see it because I obviously have heard a lot about it. It's a pretty iconic movie. Directed by John Hughes. If y'all don't know him, he did Ferris Bueller, he did Breakfast Club, he did Home Alone. He was really big there in the 80s and 90s, which is when this movie was made as well. Starring Steve Martin. This is kind of like prime Steve Martin. John Candy, kind of prime John Candy. And it has cameos. It has a couple other people, but they're the main two. And so it's a businessman, Steve Martin, must struggle to travel home for Thanksgiving. His plane keeps getting canceled, snowed in, trying to get to Chicago. He gets stuck with an obnoxious slob of a shower curtain ring salesman as his only companion. So John Candy sells shower curtain rings, and is
that a real job?
It can't.
You think that was written as a joke because it'd be funny if John Candy had an obscure job?
Yeah, and I think it also served the plot because there was one point where he's out of money, and so he sells his shower curtain rings like earrings to all the girls in the department store, and that's how they make like $100 to rent a car. So maybe they needed something like they came up with that. But I'm sure, yeah, they were like, what's the stupidest job we can think of? Oh, shower curtain ring salesman. So it's got cameos by Ben Stein, which I guess he's not really relevant anymore, but he was, an airport guy. Also Kevin Bacon starring as guy running after the cab. And so it was a very obscure Kevin Bacon. Yeah, it was him and Steve Martin at one of the opening scenes. There's one cab in New York that they could both get, and they look at each other, lock eyes across the street, and both start sprinting in a really ridiculous. I mean, this movie is very light. Like, it does not take anything seriously. Very light. There's a couple. So this, I think this plot has been remade several times, where it's kind of the odd couple gets paired together for a road trip.
Forced to basically endure the nature.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, by the end they kind of form a friendship, even though they're very repulsive to each other. There's the thing that happens in all these movies where kind of right at the beginning of Act 3 they separate because you're so mean, you're such a jerk. Well, you're a loser, and I never liked you anyways. And they go their separate ways, and then
classic Tommy Boy.
Classic, exactly. Yeah. And they find their way back together, and in the end, kind of have this friendship. There was a couple scenes I wanted to mention, or a couple things I wanted to mention. First is that the wife. So the whole plot is that Steve Martin is trying to get back for Thanksgiving. He wants to be at Thanksgiving with his family, trying to travel in the holidays with a snowstorm. His wife is like pissed at him the entire movie for not being home. He misses his daughter's play. She like stops answering his phone calls and stuff. And the whole time I'm watching this going, he is trying as hard as he can. He is running. He is walking through muddy fields trying to get to car rentals. He is racing people through New York for taxi cabs. He is sharing what is not a full-size bed with John Candy. It is smaller than a full-size bed. He is doing anything and everything he can. Cars are catching on fire. I mean, all this stuff. And then she's just in her like warm bed at home. She's like, I can't believe him. I can't believe that he's not here yet. And I'm like, okay, maybe try to be a little more understanding. All right. He is busting his butt to be home with you. So that kind of
wouldn't that be a great ending? They get a divorce at the very end.
Yeah. He comes home and the locks have changed.
Luggage is in the front.
Yeah.
You're out of here, mister.
Yeah. She's already got a new guy in there who's like
Judge Reinhold.
Yeah, he's here for me. And then the other thing is that there is a scene where Steve Martin. So this movie plays pretty clean throughout. There's not a lot of bad language, nothing really too racy, but there is one scene which there must be a version of this movie that doesn't include this scene that is rated PG, but he walks up to the car rental place after you know the scene I'm talking about. He walks up to the car
where
rental.
he's swearing.
Yeah,
a
he
lot?
walks up to the desk at the car rental place after he's had a rough go, and the lady's like, "Hi, how can I help you today?" And he goes off to string about 35 F words together in a row. It is like I don't know if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, but JB Smoove.
I don't think they have that on TV. I'm just gonna just leave.
I'm gonna say the TV version for sure does not. But I don't know if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, but JB Smoove is in that. The way he says the F word in that show is exactly how Steve Martin was dropping it in this. It was hilarious. It came totally out of nowhere. But
So did Between Two Pillows.
What?
That also. Where's your other hand between two
Oh
pillows?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, no, they were in the hotel and
Is that a tickle joke?
It could be.
they were in the hotel and they wake up and John Candy's spooning with him and Steve Martin says, "Where's your other hand?" Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
Yeah.
So that's another great moment. All in all, I see why this is something that stood the test of time. Why it's kind of a classic. It doesn't quite hold up probably like it did when it first came out, but it was funny. It was enjoyable. I liked it. And
They're
it was,
probably gonna remake it and have Jonah Hill
yeah.
and like somebody else in it.
They could call the sequel Between Two Pillows. Yeah.
Between two pillows. That's right. Anyways, so that was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I would say it wasn't streaming anywhere. I had to kind of go find it. So that was the one downside to it. But if you get a chance to watch that, it's a good holiday, good Thanksgiving movie. Not quite family friendly, but something that maybe you could watch with some buddies or a girlfriend or something like that. So anyways, all right, we're going to transition now into this conversation.
Okay.
Pre-production. So basically, I found this website that has information on movies that are kind of far off. Most of them are very unformed. It might have like a working title, maybe an actor.
But there's a contract signed or something. Is that like?
Well,
how far along is this?
Yeah, it's to the point where they're trying to like cast it up,
Okay.
trying to get it moving forward. It's in it's in pre-production, so it's not like just an idea that someone has, but these are like legitimate things that studios are wrestling with. No, the truth is that studios have a lot of projects that never get made. So there may be a script or an idea that bounces around for a while and then falls apart. I'm not saying these movies are necessarily going to come out, but they're trying to get these ones going.
Okay.
So I'm just going to throw them out there. We'll spend a couple minutes talking about each one, see whether we would like it or not, whether we'd go see it or not.
Well, whether we would fund it.
Or whether we'd fund it. That's
We'd
right.
fund
Yeah.
it.
So we're the producer. We're sitting in the producer chair and we're deciding, are we going to give our, let's say $50 million or whatever, make up a number. Are we going to give our money to this movie to be made? So they're coming to us with this idea with maybe a director or an actor attached. Will we fund it? So the first one is called Boss Level. First bad start. All right. Bad title, Boss Level. And what this is Frank Grillo, who I don't know if you know him. He's kind of the good looking, dark haired guy. He was in that movie Warrior that I liked. He plays a retired special forces veteran trapped in a never ending loop, resulting in his death every day. This also has Mel Gibson attached in some way. Does that sound a little familiar to you guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Live, die, repeat.
Groundhog
Next.
Yeah, Live, Die, Repeat, Groundhog Day.
Day. Happy Death Day.
There's several movies that do this. Live, Die, Repeat does it almost exactly like this. So
Passion of the Christ.
Okay.
Right?
I don't think that's a daily recurrence. No, I think that'll happen one time. Okay, so fund it, Dick. Yes or no?
I would say no.
All right, Chris.
I'm a no.
Yeah, the only reason I would go yes is because I think Live, Die, Repeat was really good, but people didn't go see it. And I think if you create something like that,
I mean, that's why they changed the name.
Yeah, they rebranded it to Edge of Tomorrow. It was Edge of Tomorrow, and they rebranded it Live, Die, Repeat.
No, it was Live, Die, Repeat, and then Edge of Tomorrow.
Incorrect.
All right, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, whatever. But I think that so maybe there would be a chance. I'm still gonna say no, but the only reason I would lean yes is because I think if a movie like this came back out, people are ready for it now, and they might go do it. But I don't know. If business wise, I would say maybe. What I want, no, definitely no. All right, the next one. What Men Want. A female sports agent has been constantly boxed out by her male colleagues when she gains the power to hear men's thoughts. She is able to shift the paradigm to her advantage as she races to sign the NBA's next superstar. And this has got Taraji P. Henson attached.
Is this a Triple X film?
No.
Because, I mean, that plot would work for that.
No, okay, but this.
I mean, how can you do it with guys' insight where at least 80% of every guy's like she's hot?
Well, yeah, but I think it would be interesting for women to see how little we actually think.
Okay, so it'd be a lot of dead silence.
Yeah, she would just look at a guy and she would just hear like a dial.
Man, I hope she tickles her.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you open the door, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so this movie was made with Mel Gibson, What Women Want.
Yes.
And
it's a great movie.
And that's a great movie, and that idea works. I think that he's losing it.
Can you just imagine?
Okay, can we tune him down for a little bit? Yeah, there we go. All right. So, anyways, my worry for this one, Chris, I'm just going to talk to you for a minute. All right.
Sure.
My worry for this one would be that if a girl, and this is what I think would.
Oh.
Okay. How you doing, buddy?
He appreciated his own joke
Yeah,
so much.
Man, Dick is the funniest guy he's ever met. Okay. So, anyways, I think what I'm worried about. Oh, he's about to spew water. Okay. He's doing okay. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay. Are we ready to? He's got some tears in his eyes. We're ready to bring you back up, pot him up.
Oh.
Okay, so I think my worry about this would be that if a girl honestly heard, and this is I think what you're saying, Dick, if a girl honestly heard the thoughts of guys, it would be maybe a lot of dial tone, but a lot of what she would be hearing would be the most, terrible things. Just terrible things all the time, right? As she walked by. Okay, we're going to move on to the next movie. We can't.
I don't know.
Jake's crying, Dick's crying. He literally has a tear running down his cheek right now. Okay, so the next one. Do we need to go to break, Dick? Is this about something else? You just needed a good cry today? Oh. Man, this is like the 5 worst minutes we've ever put together as far as the podcast goes.
Oh, all right. What's next?
All right, the next one is called Are You Afraid of the Dark? Campfire tales are told by a group of teens who call themselves the Midnight Society. Now, this was a TV show when I was a kid that came on like Nick at Night or Teen Nick or whatever one of those channels was. It's got a screenwriter, Gary Dauberman, who did the recent It remake. He wrote the It remake. He also wrote the Annabelle, the most recent Annabelle 2 movies. So he's got some definite, credentials behind him as being a legit screenwriter who you come up with those movies. Do you think? I mean, I don't know. This is
Didn't
kind of
they make a movie, Chris, that's like a collection of horror stories that you recently reviewed on the show? That was like the premise.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Where it was like 6 different individual stories, but
oh
it had
yeah. Oh my god. Oh, I can't remember.
Okay, but so I don't know. That's one question I have for this movie. Is it going to be a collection of stories, or are they just going to pick one story and let it kind of unfold narrative style? What I would say, I would fund this, I think, because It and Annabelle have been so successful. I think that this guy knows what he's doing. Scary movies aren't my thing, but they'll make them cheap. They'll make a lot of money. So I'm all in on this.
Yep, I would fund it as well for the same reason. The It guys should be able to do whatever they want next.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Dick?
I don't know how you would portray a kids show and make it scary in a sense. Because Are You Afraid of Dark really wasn't like It's scary. It was very toned down Nickelodeon scary. So
Dude, I had some sleepless nights because of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, but
it worked
we were also
it worked for
10.
Goosebumps though. Did it really well, I think.
But they didn't do it serious though. They weren't making us. They didn't get It. The guy who wrote It to get.
Yeah, they went kind of a little funnier, a little lighthearted with it. But this sounds. I mean, if he
That's
does
my
the
only
same,
thing I'd be worried about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting. All right. Next one. Let Her Speak. Texas Senator Wendy Davis's 11-hour filibuster helps stall an anti-abortion bill in the Texas State House, and this has Sandra Bullock attached to it.
That would be the worst end credit scene.
Yeah,
because she didn't win.
Right. I would say absolutely no funding for this. What is the story? Is it Mr. Smith goes to Washington? It's not. It was only 11 hours. Okay, I've talked for 11 hours straight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
when
it worked. It worked.
Pep talks, 11 hours of pep talks.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah. So if it was like 2 days or 3 days, yeah, maybe you got.
I think it would have worked if the bill didn't pass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it passed, so I think that's kind of like, because I'm saying like the end credits is like, well, eventually she lost, and then she didn't beat Abbott, a man in a wheelchair, and then like,
oh,
ouch, yeah. What does that have to do with it? You're like you're deformist. Yeah, you've got you're ableist. You and your able body. You and your strong legs over there, Dick.
I'm just, tickling wheelchairs. Today's been a great show, folks.
That's right. I don't know if you can take money from a movie as a producer. Like, I don't know if you can like make them owe you money for pitching it to you, but that's what I would do with this movie. This sounds like the very worst thing in the entire world. If we were talking about losing a game and being punished,
Well, see,
this would be like not even like funny punishment.
Similar to the one we just talked about, the Are You Afraid of the Dark? See, I could see that movie working if it wasn't called Are You Afraid of the Dark? If they made it some
totally separate.
Because campfire scary stories are like kind of a staple. That's why Are You Afraid of the Dark came from.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to capture an audience who's seen Are You Afraid of the Dark and not really connected at all in the movie, because that's probably what ended up happening. Like, it's not anywhere near the TV show. Same thing with Let Her Speak. They could probably just make something up. They don't have to say it's based
about a
off a true
politician.
story. Yeah, just make it up.
See, but they love to tie this crap to like real stuff because it's true. Oh, okay. Same. Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's a known entity, I guess.
Yeah, but then outside that, that's it.
I just hope in Are You Afraid of the Dark they sprinkle that magic powder on the fire and it like says the name of the scary story in the flame.
And that's it.
That was like my favorite part. Okay, well,
That's your favorite part
of that show. I always liked that. It was really good.
Did you try to do that at home?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of powder can I put in the fire to make it
Gunpowder.
not
Yeah.
give you cancer later in life?
Oh, yeah, none. BPA. So Let Her Speak sounds terrible. Sandra Bullock, whatever.
Throwing his mom's makeup into the fire.
What are you doing, Connor?
Little blush. Boom. Yeah, kick it up a notch. All right, last one. Then we got to go to break. My Life on the Road. I bet this is going to be a
We
big
probably
hit.
had to end the show, actually.
Oh, are we ending the show right now? Oh, dang. My Life on the Road. This is going to be a major no for everybody. Feminist, journalist, and activist Gloria Steinem's becomes a galvanizing symbol for equality via surprising encounters along the road that helped shape her with Julianne Moore.
It's a yes for me because
why would that
it's
be
the
a
right
no?
it's the right climate right now for that.
I guess I'm letting my personal. I'm not a good producer. I'm letting my personal like what I want to watch get in the way. And this sounds awful.
Yeah, you make it for 5, you hope you get 10 or 15 total.
Yeah, so the total budget here probably goes to Julianne Moore, and then the rest is just like, a little bit of production cost, and then you hope it makes a little bit of money.
Yep.
I guess you're right. This is probably Oscar bait, so you're probably, okay.
Out of all the movies we just went over, this is probably the most realistic chance of getting funded and being done and on the movie shelf.
That's probably actually a good point. This shows that I have zero instinct for this game. Because this was like one of my, Let Her Speak was my hardest no. This was maybe I'm sexist because the two that are about like strong women are the ones that I don't
This is a great
like.
band of people around the table. I'm a deformist person, and then
Sexist.
you got sexist,
I
Ticklist.
and he's a ticklist, and Jake, you're probably the worst of them all. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, you're just a good liar. All right, well, we're about to have to wrap the show up. I do want to say that we had a
Ticket
winner.
giveaway,
Yeah, we
bro.
had a winner for the tickets this week. If you live in Bristol, England, and you like our Twitter just because it says the word "win" in the post, probably not going to have an opportunity to win the tickets
Unless
there's a movie tavern in Bristol. What do you
these
think?
tickets apply to.
Movie taverns as well. So any movie tavern that's close to you,
Yeah.
you can use them there.
So
as
it's
well.
not just for those in the Conroe area to go to the Grand, although we do encourage you to do that because that is our favorite theater. Our winner this week is Aaron Donahoe for liking and retweeting our last week's tweet. Thank you for that. Everybody keep doing it. And again, like I said, make sure you're also subscribing or following the Twitter account. For next week's episode, we are going to be watching Lifetime movies.
Hallmark movies, bro.
Hallmark movies. Sorry, Lifetime is where they murder people. Lifetime is where they Lifetime's where they murder people. Hallmark's where they fall in love.
Every single time.
Yep.
And is there one where they fall in love and then murder them? Is
The ID channel.
ID channel.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what Chris's wife likes. She's currently plotting his death as
Yep.
we speak. All right, so we're gonna be liking that or watching that. I'm gonna be watching Finding Santa, which has like the third best Full House girl in it. And so, Chris, which one are you gonna watch?
Is it Switched at Birth?
Switch? No, Switch. You're watching Switch for Christmas, which
Oh,
has
Switch for
which has
Christmas,
like
yes.
one of the more liked Full House. It's funny
Yes.
because all of these Hallmark movies have several Full House people involved. So we're excited about that. So we got Finding Santa for me. Dick's
Christmas
watching
Train,
Christmas
man.
Train. Chris has got Switch for Christmas. We're gonna be most of next week's show is just gonna be enjoying talking about these ones. So
I can't believe this is a movie.
So go ahead and record those if you have the Hallmark channel. If not, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial and watch them all and be a part of the conversation next week. For Chris, for Dick, for producer Jake, this is Connor. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys next week here on the Ticket Stub.
Thanks for checking out this podcast of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.
If you enjoyed this recording, make sure to check out our past shows online at irlonestar.com or their respective video or podcast formats on YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. If you have any questions regarding the show, either it being about sponsorships or questions for the host, contact the station manager at dick@irlonestar.com or call the station at 936-647-3776. This show was recorded in downtown Conroe, Texas at the Lone Star Community Radio Studios, and Lone Star Community Radio reserves all rights to this recording and images.